Welcome to all. We start today. Next question, question 50. Now onwards, remember, I will explain the question. Explain the arrangement with all the forces. Once that is over, that calculation part, now you should be able to do it. It will be mini exercises for you. Okay, start. Again, I am continuing two connected blocks. Two blocks A and B. See, last time I told 1 and 2, I am changing A and B of weights 8 kilonewton and 10 kilonewton are connected by a rod. See, a rod. You write here, this is a rod. Not last time cable, this time it is a rod or some solid member. Reason I will tell you. And placed on a rough inclined plane making an angle of 50 degree with horizontal. So remember, sketch is not given. So by seeing the question, we are preparing the sketch. But next time onwards, what I will do is, I will give as shown in figure. Why waste time unnecessary all these things? See, by this time, so many questions are given words. So sketch given, usually 90% chance a question of this type given means sketch will be given. Who will tell all this in the word? See, suppose in question paper, who will write all this? They will tell for the system of blocks as shown in figure. Okay, over. Find the least push to be applied to the lower block. See, lower block A. They told block A and B. They did not tell which is upper side, which is lower side. Now they are telling least push to be applied to the lower block A. So this is A, that is B. Okay. Along the inclined plane, to prevent the system of blocks from sliding down. See, least force required to prevent the system of blocks from sliding down. Again, I told you, since it is the least force required for preventing sliding down means you should write later on the verge of sliding down. So friction is this way. Why? Because you apply force this way, purpose of force is to prevent it from sliding down. If you remove the P, it will slide down. So last time also same question. See, instead of applying P here, we applied a P here this way. But at that time, this was what? Not rod, it was a cable. Because that time, this member was in tension. See, tension. But this time, this will be in compression. So this time, they cannot give cable here. Or think a little. You tie a cable between these two, apply a push. As it moves, cable will fold. Cable will fold. See there. I already showed it earlier. The cable will not stand. See? As you apply a push, cable will fold. So that is, see, giving cable. See, when rod given, it can take either tension or compression. Anything will do. This I told you. Either tension, compression. But cable means, or cable, or rope, or wire, or string means, it should be flexible member. It can take one, it can resist only tension. Okay, now, to prevent the system of blocks from sliding down the plane, now they told angle of friction for contact surfaces of A and B are respectively 20 degree, 18 degrees. For block A, angle of friction phi is 20 degrees. For block B, it is 18 degrees. A weight is 8 kilonewton, B weight is 10 kilonewton. This is 50 degrees. Okay, now, solution. Sketch you are writing by seeing the words. Let P be the least push to be applied to the lower block A, least push to be applied to the lower block A, if you want write along the plane. See, the question only they told. Least push to be applied to the lower block A along the plane, this way. You can write here, push A, you write here, A, along the plane, okay. Along the inclined plane, along the plane, to prevent the system of blocks from sliding down. So remember, purpose is to prevent from sliding down. So the two system will, if the P is not there, system will slide down. So friction is up. Now, by chance if the question is, what is the force required to move the system up the plane? Then friction is this way. That is coming up questions. Okay, start. This over, this over. Now, I already started now. See, people who are not regular and who don't study properly, they will have difficulty. Let RA, RB, I'm dictating. RA and RB be normal reactions for contact surface of A and B respectively. Then write, we know that limiting friction FF limit equal to mu into R in general, where R is the normal reaction. Now, mu is coefficient of friction. See right here, not this way. Mu is coefficient of friction, but in the question, they told angle of friction. In that case, mu equal to tan phi, right? Where phi is angle of friction. Now, mu for A, see, mu for A equal to tan of phi A, tan of 20.3640, and mu for this contact is tan of 18 is 0.3249. Therefore, FF limit for A is mu. How much mu you got? 0.3640 into RA. FF limit here is mu is 0.3249 into RB. This everything is over. Now here I will put a neat sketch here showing all the forces. Then right side I will go for solution. Means free body diagram of 1 by 1 block. Same system I followed yesterday also. Last class also. Now, I have written a neat sketch here. See, everything explained here. This weight, 8 kilonewton. This normal reaction, RA. Then friction here, sliding down. FF limit for A, 0.36 RA, 364 RA. Here, weight 10 kilonewton. FF limit is 0.3249 RB and reaction RB. Oh, one thing I forgotten. You have to write one more thing. I forgot. See, now the connecting member will be in compression. Let C be compression force in connecting rod. A connecting rod. I told already, if you pull applied, whether it is cable or rod, whatever it is, tension. But when you apply a push this way, see, this way, as it slides down, this will be compressed. Common sense. So it is not tension now. Suppose you take tension, negative sign will come. No, don't take. You should think little. See, common sense will tell. If the two vehicles are parked here and connected by a rod, as they slide, this member will get compressed. Okay. Now, this sketch is clear. Now, this I removed. Now, I will go for free body of each one. It's full I will remove now. Nothing required. Now, I will solve the question and complete it. See, now what I will do is, I will give explain. See, now onwards, I will explain, make a note here. Now, I will explain, but will not write too much. Exercise for you. Okay, start. Now onwards, it is exercise. Why? Because already so many questions are solved. Okay. First, consider equilibrium of block. Which block? See, once again. See here. This you write here. Those who want. For block A, how many unknowns? Unknowns are P is the unknown, RA is the unknown, and C is the unknown. Whereas for block B, RB is the unknown, RB, and C is the unknown. Oh, here 3 unknowns, here 2 unknowns. Where less number of unknown, you should consider that one. So now you should consider upper block first, B. Last question, see, when you applied P here, we first consider lower block. See, last time question. Now equilibrium of block P. Okay, block B. Why block B? Why block B? I already told in the class. Okay, start. Only block B. How? See, this surface. Only block B. See, 50 degrees. Only block B here. Little big sketch. Okay. A little more space required here. Weight acting down. How much? Block B. 10 kilonewton. Then there is a normal reaction here. Perpendicular plane RB. Then block B. See, a force acting from this side. Compression it should be along the plane. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. See, parallel to the plane. See, this arrow mark, C, and a frictional force here. Now write directly equal to 0.3249 times RB. Now, if you cannot solve, do not continue my class. That's all. So, right here. This is your XX. If not clear, leave it. Don't continue. This is your YY. See, I should be harsh. After so much of explanation, if somebody tells, I cannot do it now, see, now, directly along YY, directly along XX, directly along XX, this is becomes resolution required here. If this is 50 degrees, this angle is 40 degrees. So, when you resolve this force, this is the component along XX cos, component along YY sin. This all I explained, not once, hundreds of times I explained it. Okay, start now. Sigma Fy equal to 0, take this upward positive. See here, what I will explain here. I should not tell, see. Plus RB minus 10 sin 40 equal to 0, you will get the value of RB. Get the answer. 10 into sin 40. 6.428. 6 point plus will come. 6.428 kilonewton. Then sigma Fx0. Take right side, this way positive. See, this way positive. Then plus C plus 0.3249 RB minus 10 cos 40 equal to 0. Substitute. You get the value of C. See, your C will come. 10 into cos 40. Okay, got the answer. Minus 0.3249 into 6.428. Correct? Yes. 5.572 kilonewton. By chance, if any calculation is wrong, you correct it. Don't make an issue. Plus 5.572 kilonewton. If the system is not sliding down, then there is no forces required. Wrong question. If they give a very small angle, see, small angle here, system will not slide down. Then your C will come negative. It will come negative. Okay, this is all I told you. Means question wrong, not our problem. Okay, now, next. Now consider equilibrium. This next time I won't write equilibrium of block A. Block A. Once again put a sketch here. See, this is the block A. Here, see, this block. Show the block here. Weight acting down. How much? 8 kilonewton. 8. See, this block is making, once again, this angle is 50 degrees. Then, block A, we have one normal reaction, RA. See, I shifted it to this side. Y means you don't bother. I know the reason. RA. Then, see, weight over, RA over. Then we have got a force P here along the plane. Force P here along the plane. And then we got a frictional force this way frictional force of which one? 0.3249 RB. Sorry, here 0.364. Frictional force of how much it is? 364. 364 times RA. And then remember, when you consider block A, see here, this over, a compression force comes this way. See, for this block, it is like this. See here. And for this block, it is like this. See, for a lower block, a compression force like this along the plane. A compression force like this. See. And that C is already known for you, 5.572 kilonewton. 5.572 kilonewton right here, already known. Okay, now happily solve. Lastly, P will come. Okay, start. If this is 50 degrees right here, see, once again, this is your XX. This is very time I won't tell. And this is your YY. Now I will not explain much. This is 50 degrees. This angle is 40 degrees. 40 degrees. Okay. Sigma Fy0, take this side positive. Plus RA minus, see, component if you want. This way component cos, this way component sine with respect to this angle, because why? Angle with XX. So plus RA minus 8 sine 40 equal to 0. Your RA will come, how much? 8 into sine 40. 8 into sine 40. 5.142 RA will come plus 5.142 kilonewton. Solve. Then sigma Fx0, take this way, right side positive. See, I will dictate. Plus P minus, this is directly along XX, plus P minus 5.572 plus 0.364, this is not there, minus 8 cos 40 equal to 0. So 8 into cos 40, that is the sliding force. To that one more adding which one? Plus 5.572, these are addition forces, equal to subtract 0.364 into RA is 5.142 over. P will come 9.829 kilonewton plus 9.829 kilonewton. I will check once again now. By chance, if it is wrong, you correct it. What is there? It is 8 into cos 40, then plus 5.572, subtract 0.364 into RA is 5.142. 7 point, 1 minute. 5.572 plus 8 into cos 40. These are the addition forces, minus 0.364 into 5.142. 9.829. Okay. Why I added these two and subtracted that one is my capacity. You substitute in the equation. Okay. Answer came. Question number 50 over. Now same way I will solve today one more question, 51. Same pattern. This time I will save the time by writing the sketch. Of course, I will tell the words also if you want. Okay. Next question. Per day 2 classes. Sorry. Per class 2 questions. Sorry, confusion. Question 51. Start from here. Find the least value of P required to move the system of blocks down the plane. Remember, now the purpose is not to prevent it from sliding down, we want to slide down. Means if these are the two vehicles, they are connected by a rod or cable, here cable. See, this angle is not very stiff. Means these two blocks are at rest. They are not sliding. If they are already sliding, why you want to P? Negative will come. So someone has to pull it now. But effort required is lesser. Next class we will do what is the force required to move it up the plane. Now down the plane. Okay. Here cable or rod will do. Cable given. But actually remember now, one problem is there. If this friction is very low, or if the friction is very low, if it's already sliding, the cable is useless. Cable is useless. It will fold. That is the responsibility of the person who said the question. Without having that much basic knowledge, he cannot give the question. Or if they give that way, you solve. Write that negative answer only. What to do? Over. Least value of P required to move the system of blocks down the plane. Okay. Those who want words, some will tell, sir, if they give words, what to do? Okay, I will tell words. Two blocks of weight 400 Newton and 300 Newton are connected by a cable and placed on a rough inclined plane which makes an angle of 20 degrees with horizontal. Okay. The 400 Newton block is downside, or they will tell 300 Newton is upper side. They should tell it. Then, coefficient of friction for contact surface of first block, that is 400 Newton block, is 0.45, and for second block is 0.5. Usually in examination, they give both same. They will tell outside, they will give. Take mu equal to 0.4. Then here also 0.4, here also 0.4. That is easy for you. Okay, then they are connected by a cable, I told. Find what least force is required to be applied down the plane. See, to be applied down the plane. Down the plane to the block, 400 Newton block. The force is along the plane to make the system to start sliding down, or least force required. Now see, this is the question. Okay, now right here. Least force required to start motion means the system of blocks are on the verge of sliding down. That's why, see, friction, I put this way. I will not explain friction. Next question, next class. One more question I am doing. I am pushing from this side. Then remember, this cannot be cable. It should be a rod. If I push from this side, this cannot be cable. That should be a rod. Because if you push from cable and slide down, if I give cable here, see now the cable is in tension. See, when you pull this way, cable is in tension. Then cable will be, this will be in compression. Then they cannot give rod. Sorry, they cannot give cable. That is next question. Okay, then see, once again, write everything. Now do one thing, you write all these. Later, when you put a sketch here, you make this as block 1, some name it block 2 to save the time. See, block 1, block 2, you name. Now write that RA with a normal reaction for block 1, R2 with a normal reaction for R2. Okay, normal reactions clear. Then let T be the tension in the cable. Okay, tension in the cable over. Weights already told. We know that limiting frictional force, which is in the opposite direction of motion, the motion is down the plane, so the friction is up the plane. See, up the plane equal to mu times normal reaction. So this friction is 0.45 into RA. This friction is 0.5 into R1, 0.45 into R2. Okay, everything told. If still you want me to explain, I told some other person better. Okay, now everything is over. Write a neat sketch here. And now, see, start. Consider equilibrium. Which one first? See here. Block 1, if you see, unknowns are P, see here. For block 1, unknowns are P, R1 and T. Whereas block 2, unknowns are R2, red color, okay. Okay, R2 and T. Oh, therefore, only two unknowns here, three unknowns here. Start from block 2, get R at R2 and T, then come to block 1. By that time, T is known and solve the question. So, I am starting now. First equilibrium of block 2, then block 1. Or unknown is here means that equilibrium first. Mine unknown. Last time question, if the mine unknown is here means previous class question, start from this block or start from that block where unknowns are lesser. Now, not much time. I will do one thing now. I write solution and briefly explain and terminate the class, because why? I told for class 2 questions. Okay. I will write now and close the question. I already explained for block 1, R1, T and P, 3 unknowns. Block 2, R2 and T, 2 unknowns. Therefore, less number of unknown is for block 2. First consider 2, then consider 1. See, now it is exercise. Consider equilibrium of block 2. Don't put signature. You are learning, I am teaching, I got a right to write whatever I want, because so many questions, I wrote everything. Now onwards, these all I will not tell. Okay, start block 2, see. Weight 300, already here, see, this much. 300, R2, 0.5 R2 friction, T this way. Sigma Fy0, upward positive. If this is 20, that will become 70 degrees. See, that much common sense required, because you can't use 20. When you take xx here, you want the angle with xx 70 degrees. Then only cos and sine for 70. So, plus R2 minus 300 sine 70 equal to 0. This T will not come. R2 will come. Sigma Fx0, take this side positive. Take any side positive. Usually in the class I will ask, instead of taking this side positive, suppose you consider this way positive, what will happen? Or I will ask here, this one I will ask first. This I won't ask because tension negative will not come, they know it. I will ask here, see, I took this way positive, sigma Fy, plus R2 minus 300 sine 70, 0. So you got R2 positive. Usually I ask a question, even I don't want to tell actually. In some training program for teachers also I asked. Teachers means lecturers. I am not condemning them because they are trapped. See, I will ask, instead of taking this way positive, suppose you take this way positive, what will happen? I will tell answer. See, nothing will happen. Instead of positive, what will come here? They will tell negative. Let it come negative. See, this sign convention has nothing to do with the answer. This positive means assumed correct. See, if you take this way positive, what will happen? Plus 300 sine 70 minus R2 0, simplify, R2 will come same. This is a trapped question. These all I am uploading in YouTube, special concepts all. Common mistakes and blunders committed. One by one I will start upload. Time is required for me. There are a lot of concepts where so many, majority, more than 90% make mistake or blunder. There are some common sense answer is there regarding percentage or how many times increase is there. 99% make the mistake. Very few do correctly. That all I will upload in the YouTube. That is eye-opener for so many people. At least I will tell them, realize the mistake. When you answer something, you think and answer. But if somebody asks me, same question, see, instead of taking upward positive, if you take downward positive, suppose he will try to trap me. Instead of positive, what he will get? I will tell what? Instead of positive, what he will get? You will get positive only. How you can get negative? He will keep quiet. Okay, over. You will get now sigma Fx0 minus T plus 0.5 R2, this is not there, y perpendicular along YY, minus 300 cos 70, 0, you get the value of T. Okay, then consider equilibrium of block 1. See here, block 1. 400 down. Okay, down. R1, I marked there. Distension, T. Already known. How much? 38.348. Friction, 0.45 R1. Force, unknown force, P. Sigma Fy0 plus R1 minus 400 sin 70, 0, R1 will come. Sigma Fx0 minus P plus 38.348 plus 0.45 R1, all these three are along the plane. So along XX. This is not there. Y perpendicular, YY, minus 400 cos 70 equal to 0. You get the value of P. Question is over. Therefore, the least force required to move the system down the plane is 70.684 Newton. Means when you apply 70.684 Newton, the system will be on the verge of coming down. If you apply a little more force, it will start sliding. Okay, this question over. That's all. Per day, I told two classes, two questions. Don't hurry. Per day, per class, two questions. That is only for engineering mechanics further, friction. Later when I go for strength of materials or structural analysis, no. So many classes may run more than 3-4 hours. Why? I want continuity. I have to rub the board maybe 7-8 times. That is later. That is where you really start understanding structural engineering. Okay, that's all. Study thoroughly. Thank you. We will meet in the next class.